Hello, everyone. This is your host, Diedrich Davis. Coming up next is a new episode of Black Nerds Matter. On this show, we get real experiences, thoughts, and advice from different black professionals in the world of STEM. Stay tuned at WMNF Radio for more. Come for the science, stay for the nerds.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Black Nerds Matter. You got your host, Diedrich Davis, right here. Today we have TreVaughn Ellis. He's a NOAA Hollings Udall scholar, recent graduate from American University, as well as a beekeeper and artist. What's up, TreVaughn? What's up, my boy? How you doing?
What's good, dude? Glad to be here, man.
I'm excited to have you on, man. I know we've bumped into each other at a few different places the last year or so, but it's good to actually get time to talk, man. How's the summer been?
Summer's been awesome. Just got back from two different places. So I was doing firefighting for a little bit out in Oregon, and then I did the diversity project with UCLA. So I was bouncing around all over. So it's good to finally chill out and be at home for a bit.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm excited because I'm excited to ask you about both of those. I know you're excited to talk about it. So yeah, man, can you tell me about your home life and your background?
Yeah, so I grew up both in Pennsylvania and New York. I love both of my homes. Like it's been a really awesome environment. I did school. I did like middle of high school out here. And it's just been really cool. Like just having my friends around, like having my parents around. Like it's been a really nice childhood. I was outside a lot growing up as a kid, which was pretty cool. Getting to see the outdoors and like be outside. So yeah, it's kind of a bit about my background. Grew up doing a lot of art too. Like I always like to do sketches and drawings, and I was kind of like, I didn't go out a lot as a kid, so like I was mainly indoors, like drawing in notebooks, making comics and characters and stuff. So I definitely had like kind of like that nerdy, typical indoor like childhood. So yeah.
So you said you grew up partially in Pennsylvania. What part?
East Stroudsburg in the Poconos.
Okay, I lived in Pennsylvania for about 5 years, and I don't know if you're familiar with York, but I lived in Mount Wolf, Pennsylvania, and it's like
Okay.
a subsidiary of York. So I was there for a while, and I loved the nature there. I mean, I pretty much loved Pennsylvania all the time except for wintertime. It was just so cold, and that was the worst. But me and my
Yep.
mom still talk about how beautiful the fall was, and that's like the best place to have Halloween, like hands down. Like everywhere else I've been in America, it's been the best places there. I mean, everybody gets so into it. Like you see all the trees all spooky with no leaves and all that stuff, and it's cold. Like it really feels like it does. Like even though you see it in the Hallmark movies and the Disney movies, that's what Halloween really looks like there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. So what about your time in New York? What part of New York were you living in?
Brooklyn, East New York. So I was there when I was like really, really young. So it was really nice, and my father, he still works out there, so we visit regularly. It was really awesome. Like had this really tight knit community of like other Caribbeans in the area who like it was really just like having multiple aunties, multiple uncles like around you at all times. The food was gas. Like I like sit here and I think about like doubles every other day. I'm like, bro, I need to go get a plate. Like, but yeah, I really like my time out in Brooklyn, and I can't wait to go back. So I'm gonna be there soon.
Where's your family from in the Caribbean?
My dad is from Jamaica, and then my mom is from South Carolina here. So yeah, so I got the Jamaican thing going on.
Okay, you been in Jamaica?
Yes, well, once when I was like pretty young, it was for a wedding. It was pretty beautiful. We went during like mango season. I just remember being full. Like that's all I remember. It was beautiful, and I was full. But that's all I remember.
So I mean, having the BIMS Tidal Wave Fellowship and Noah Hollings, Udall. I mean, bro, you're no slouch when it comes to science and doing the whole STEM thing. What got you into it?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I remember I was riding the train with my dad, and I was like, I was asking him about like something science related, and he like took me seriously, and I was like, I was too young to like probably like grasp everything entirely, but like I remember he took this napkin out and he drew like a circle, like he drew some circles, and he explained to me like this is what a cell is, and I was really into Legos at the time, and he was like, these are the Legos to life. I remember that analogy, like it sticked with me all these years later. I don't think he like fully knows how impactful that moment was, because I think from there it kind of like sparked a curiosity that I just like kept with me. And we didn't always have fish, but I remember this one time we had this fish tank, and I was just like so fascinated as to like how do the guppies get their color and how do they pass their colors down to their children? And like as a kid, you're just asking all these questions. And one thing I really like love about my parents is like they took my questions very seriously, and like they would explain it to the best that they could, and I would retain as much as I could at the time. But really just like feeling that curiosity early on, I think was what helped me continue to do science and pursue it with my full passion in the future. So yeah.
That's cool. So are your parents scientists?
My dad is a doctor, and my mom, she's like a program director. So my dad is a medical scientist. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm about to ask my daddy if he knows how to draw a cell. I was like, if I asked him to do that, he might try to draw a jail for me. You know what I mean? So I'd have to ask him that. That's cool. That's really cool that you got to see something like that, especially from someone that you're close with very early on. And so
Yeah.
when you went to American University, were you studying bio or was it marine bio?
Yeah. So AU doesn't have a marine bio program. So I was studying just strictly biology. Um, but like through the scholarships and through some of the professors I was able to meet there, I was able to get like a marine bio experience through my
So when did you know you wanted to do marine bio instead of just regular biology?
regular bio. So I started off because even though I had like a good relationship with science as a kid growing up, like the school system in PA, like I had some really amazing teachers, but I had some really like tough ones as well. Um, and I remember like going into going into AU, I had this amazing AP bio teacher, and I was like, like I did good in that class. I love AP, I love biology, but I'm not sure if I can do it all the way. You know what I'm saying? So I started off doing environmental science was my major. So I switched to biology my sophomore year after I had like a few bio classes. I was like, I really love this stuff. And then I was like, wait, let me go back to like my childhood passion. Like I really love the ocean and science. So that's when I started like looking for more marine bio related opportunities and getting into like, okay, like I want to be a marine biologist. Like that's kind of where that got refined sophomore year.
I'm sure it was hard to get like interested into marine stuff being in Pennsylvania. I mean, I remember living there. Like, I remember seeing lakes or stream. We had like a little creek maybe behind our house, stuff
Yeah.
like that, but never really the ocean, all that kind of stuff. And I always find it so interesting when I meet people who are from inside of states or not from the coast, and they're like, I know I always wanted to do marine bio. I wanted to do it because it's like you really see it that one time when you're little or whatever, and it just tracks you, it follows you forever. You eventually get into it. So that's awesome, bro. Man, how'd you get into doing beekeeping? I mean, I'm a huge honey fan. Like anyone who knows me know, I mean, like 7, 8, 9 biscuits and putting honey on them, and I'm getting honey butter sauce from Whataburger from my Texas
Yeah.
people listening to this. Like, man, I love honey. How you had to be a beekeeper? Because that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, okay. So throughout college, I worked with facilities management at my school. So I was involved in our garden club, and through our garden club, there was also a beekeeping club. And I remember seeing that. I was like, dang, it's so dope. Like, how can I get involved? And so, like, I was talking to the people in the club, and they were like, well, we have a class that we run. Like, it would be on top of like your current classes. But it's like 8 weeks. You do the curriculum, you pass the exam at the end, you become a certified beekeeper. So I did that on top of my classes. And then this summer, I had a scholarship to work at my lab over the summer on campus. And I was just like, also while I did the garden stuff, I was also in the hive. And so like, I don't know. I love the class. I love the community. I love like beekeeping itself. Like it really is it's such a calming activity. Like there's like thousands of bugs like going crazy around you, but you're just like centered. It's really awesome.
That's like my dream is to have my own place and have like bamboo and some other stuff growing and like a little garden, and have a place where I'm getting my own honey because dude, I love honey. I love bees. I think it's the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever. That's honestly, I've never met anyone beekeeping, so I'm really happy that you mentioned that to me before we got on here because I was like, I love that. I'm really excited to talk about this. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we're Black Nerds Matter. Everyone here is a nerd. What makes you a nerd?
What makes me a nerd? Bro, I'm just like nerdy down to the core, to be honest. Like whenever it comes to like when it comes to like a topic that I'm interested in, or like just like your typical like nerd stuff, like I really just I will geek out. Like if you get me onto a topic, then I'm like, all right, I be watching YouTube videos about this. I'm ready. Like that's when it like jumps out of me. I gotta like reel it back. I'm like, whoa, let me not scare away the baddies. Hold on, let me lock in. But um yeah, no, I love science. I love learning, and like people call that nerdy or whatever, but like I'm a nerd for sure.
So rattle off some subjects. I'm sure there's some of those I like as well because I got so many niche ones that I can't talk about it with everyone, but you can talk about it here. Give
Yeah,
me some, man. Give me
yes.
some.
Okay, so my first and like biggest nerdy love, aquascaping. It's kind of like the art of like underwater like gardening basically. It's like you pick your plants, like you have your wood arrangements, your rock arrangements, and you like landscape an environment like within like an aquarium or like a jar. Like I'm always collecting jars. I always have like in fact like even on my desk, I kind of have like this bowl that I kind of keep with like a bunch of like plants and stuff. So aquascaping for sure. Um, Plants, just like plants in general. Like I always have my ferns, and like I'm always like calculating like, oh, okay, how much nutrients I need to give them like this week. Like like really getting into the science of upkeeping things that are alive around me. Um, what else am I nerdy about? Space, underwater diving. A lot of like different random facts about like bugs and animals. Uh, I really just I'm a lifelong learner, and I think that's one of the things that like comes across as nerdy. Uh, and I think like if someone can get an interesting enough topic, like I'll be there to sit and just like listen for hours. Like I love hearing about different things.
So what kind of you interested in any kind of franchises like Star Wars or video games or
Oh,
any kind of what kind of stuff? What kind
uh,
of stuff like that?
yes, Star Wars for sure. I actually just a quick interlude. Like I was at it was like at night. It was a Friday night. Like the everybody was popping off on Main Street. Like I was ready to go into um this bar, and they were like, oh, it's a $5 cover charge. You can get some bills over at the arcade across the street. I'm like, all right, bet. Go to the arcade. I go in. I'm like, this is kind of lit. I get my $5, and it's like there's a Star Wars pinball machine, bro. When I tell you, I
Wow.
stayed at the pinball machine for 2 hours, and then I went home. That was my Friday night. So yeah, no, I love Star Wars big time. What else? I also like Five Nights at Freddy's. I know I'm like a 21-year-old man, but like I think it's cool. I like watching the YouTube videos. I don't care.
Shout out Corey. Shout out Corey Kenshin. I'm sure you watching him doing it.
Samurai Slice, bro.
No, that's awesome. I love talking to people about stuff like that because I mean, people that know me, I'm huge into Pokemon. I just got into like Warhammer 40K because I was playing that stuff, like Elden Ring, any kind of stuff. I'm sure we're losing some viewers right now just from
Oh,
talking about that kind of stuff, but hell, we're nerds here. This is the
yeah,
kind of stuff they're tuning in for. But I love all kinds of things like that, especially Star Wars, like playing Battlefront 2 with one of my best friends from home. I was like
yes,
Dude, I was like Lando Calrissian for Halloween like 3 years straight because I didn't want to spend
that's
any
so
money on
tough.
a new costume. Just grow a
That's so
mustache. And that's all I really had to do, nice cheap costume like that. So it's just, I love that. I love embracing that nerdy side and it not just being science, but even being just,
yeah,
dorky stuff,
literally,
Bakugan or some just silly stuff that we used to do as kids and, you like as a kid, but then you become an adult. You're like, oh, I can like this again. Like it's even more fun. That's the type of
exactly.
stuff I like to see.
No, that's so real. Like, especially Battlefront, like I would always play heavy. Heavy was my favorite class in Star Wars Battlefront. I was smoking. And even like Batman comics, like I love the DC like comic universe. Like the new 52, really dope. But like
Oh,
yeah.
you're a new 52 fan?
New 52 fan. I'll stand on it.
Okay. Yeah, because I like New 52 as well. Like, I love the animated movies. I'm big into Batman. I always say
Yeah,
my top hero is like Batman, Spider-Man. Like, I can't go wrong with either of those. Love them. And
real.
Cyborg was like my first guy because first black superhero I ever saw.
Yeah,
Titans. He jumped at the screen. Cyborg, boom, hitting the camera. Like, I love
exactly.
him. I love just stuff like that. And I think the representation, especially in comic books now, is and like even cartoon characters stuff like that is so much better than when I was a kid because the only
Yeah,
characters I could think of that were and I'm sure especially since you're an artist and you're doing comics, I know that kind of stuff's important, but something that I didn't realize before the only black supers I used to see was Green Lantern, and
yeah,
the old Justice League thing, and then
yeah.
Cyborg, but now they have like Miles Morales, Black Spider-Man. I'm like, bro, I would have went
Exactly.
so crazy over that as a kid.
I would have lost my mind as like a kid growing up if I had like Miles Morales, and like I would lose my mind now. Like I watch it, I'm like, I literally be like jumping on the couch, like watching, like let's go, you know. Yeah, I totally relate. Even with like the introduction of Finn in like Star Wars, like just like there's like a black main like in a Star Wars franchise. Like although I have some thoughts about his character, like he should have done more things with the force sensitive stuff. But like just having that representation is really important within like media because it's like what types of things can you like and not like if it's like oh okay well you like this franchise, but you don't see yourself represented, it can be alienating. So that's real. That's real.
Absolutely, bro. And I don't want no token black character. I want a cool character that happens to be black, not a
Yes.
black character. You know what I mean? That's like
Right.
one of the biggest, like my biggest pet peeve with some of the new stuff that comes out that I'm
Yeah.
watching because I'm like, no, they can be cool and happen to be black. I don't need them being black as their,
Their personality trait.
being their
Yeah.
personality. You know what I mean? So that's cool. Especially I see some of this stuff where it'll be like a black spin-off comic and it's written by like a white dude. And I'm like, bro, like
Yeah.
we don't say stuff like that. Like
You'd be like, oh, the function gonna be Finna Mad Lit. Like what who's on the screen? Like what's going on?
who who's saying that in real life? Like you obviously don't know. And but it's just so cool to see. I mean, I know that's happening and it's not great, but it's just good to even see any kind of representation for stuff like that now because it was such
Yeah.
a big deal. I mean, I'm sure you played video games before when they had the black haircut, it was either bald fade or big goofy like 80s afro. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I can get some braids, I can get some dreads, I can have some waves. I might not
Exactly.
want to use those, but like I got the
Have
option.
more options now. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. It's good to see how that changed. So I know we've been talking about art. How'd you get into being an artist, and when did you know that you were talented? Because man, I've seen some of your sketches and stuff, and you showed me. I'm like, man, that boy can draw. I thought I could draw a little bit. I learned how to draw a little cartoon shark and seal back in the day because those are what I like, those type of animals I like. But then I saw your stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I'm not there. I'm not on that level. Not
No,
even close.
no. No, I really appreciate it. And I started like as I said, like being young, like it was literally like me and my brother, like I had a few like close friends and I remember me and this one cat from Brooklyn, Nick, like me and him we would used to like just fill these like notebooks up with like cartoons. Like we'd like draw like comic series like between me and him. And it was really cool and he's a cartoonist today still too. Um but yeah, it was like really young. Like that was like my way to socialize. And then I think like in middle school, I had like this really like rough year. And I think like through that year, I kind of also realized like drawing is like how I learn and like process information. So like, I'd always be sketching in class, like, and I would get in trouble and stuff. And like, my teachers would be like, you need to pay attention. Like, and, then I would just have to like, just straight take notes. And, I'm not able to like visually and kinetically like take in the information. And so I think once I realized that like not only do I like doing art, but art also is a part of my learning process. Like I was able to I was able to really like hone in on like my talents and being able to use them in like ways that were productive to me and also creative, like expressively. So like I started like seeing what other mediums would do for me. Like, what if I painted this concept? What if I like animated this concept? Like, what if I just sketched this out? Like, a lot of those things like really played into my art discovery, my art journey throughout the year. And Like I'm still learning, I'm still growing as an artist, like trying to learn how to be consistent, trying to learn how to like use it within my scientific communication, which has been a large thing and a really awesome journey that I've been going through. And yeah, like I think learning about it was like, I think I kind of realized like in middle school, like, oh, I could do something with this, like not only for others, but for me.
Is that when you found out you were good, or did somebody just tell you one day, "Man, this is great"? When did you
Yeah.
find out you were great at it?
I mean, like, I guess in middle school, yeah, my dad always says like never believe your own press or whatever. So like, people be like, oh, this is real good. And I'm like, nah, you're lying. I think only really in college is when I realized like I actually had some type of talent. Like I was like, really? Like you would pay for this? And like they did pay for it. I was like, oh, okay. I can make money off of this? Word, I heard you. So I must not be garbage then.
So, how was your experience at university? I know you mentioned some of having a beekeeping club, that kind of stuff. That's interesting. I mean, my school was weird, and we had all kinds of cool stuff at Eckerd, but I want to hear about American and what you did there, and even things like Udall and NOAA Hollings, because I know those are pretty prestigious awards.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no, my time in university was lit. I really enjoyed American. Um, and at first I had some thoughts. I was like, dang, like Howard is right down the street. Like, I can't believe I'm going here. But like, I actually really ended up loving my time there. So I was environmental science, switched to bio, then picked up a dance minor. So like all the communities I was in, like the STEM community, the dance community, and then I was like really involved in campus life. Like each of those different groups like fueled me in different ways that I needed to get my degree. Like my STEM community, like I had my friends who were like, all right, we're going into the science building and we're not leaving until all our work is done. And like that was like my crew. Like we would go in, we would work, we would do our lab work, we'd get out and then rinse and repeat. Um, but I also had like my friends who were just from a bunch of different majors. Like we had my little friend group and like, they're nuts. They're wild. They're also nerds in their own ways when it comes to like different things. And we would just like kick it in our dorms until like 2, 3 a.m. just like gabbing. You know what I'm talking about? Like just talking nonsense. Um, and I really appreciate the friendships that I forged through all those different types of groups. Um, Even the networks that I made like professionally, like through the Hollings, through the Udall. The Udall scholarship in particular was something that that really like broadened my horizons, like to and more getting more knowledge about like indigenous voices and indigenous advocacy, which was a really great opportunity and something that really has kind of like changed my outlook on a lot of the ways I like approach my science, approach like collaborating with communities. And the Hollings was also really cool to meet other scholars who were doing really awesome things. And then like, having my experience out in Alaska was something nuts as well. Like it was also crazy. And while those two are the prestigious scholarships that I got, some of the like other scholarships that I got, like my REU, ended up being super impactful because like, I was going in shaky, like, can I even do science? And I remember my REU, like I met my first Black marine scientist there, like my mentor. And now I'm going back to that lab to start my master's. So it really kind of is just like one of those full circle things where it's like all those opportunities that I ended up getting at American has like set me up into the place I'm at now. And I'm like forever grateful for all of it. Yeah.
It's awesome. So, you're starting your master's at American?
At University of Delaware. That was where my REU was. Yeah. So I'll hopefully be there in January, February.
Okay, sweet. What are you planning on studying there?
So it's a microbiology lab, and the project that we are on is like it's like a government grant. It's like definitely not allowed to talk about all the details like on a public forum, but it's going to be pretty cool. Involving a lot of microbiology, involving the ocean, and then hopefully doing some other side projects during my master's there as well. So it's going to be pretty neat. I'm excited.
That's cool. So, how have you enjoyed blending art and science together? What have been some of the good breakthroughs you've had, and what have been some of the challenges?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with the challenges. Um, the challenges has been like, firstly, accepting art as a part of effective science communication, and convincing some other people of that as well. Like, because now scientific communication is on the uprise and more people are willing to have conversations and be open minded about it. But I just remember, like, in different parts of my schooling, how hard it was to even just like, draw in class, or like, it's like the professor's moving the slides so quick that you don't even have time to process like what you're seeing. And I know for me, um, what my scientific communication is all about, what my cartoons are all about, is like making science accessible. Um, so it's like, all right, you have a concept. If you can visualize it and like see, okay, there's a bright blue arrow pointing to where this molecule attaches to it. It's able to communicate a concept, I think, in a way that just words can't accomplish. And both having the visual art and then the science as well supplement each other in a way that's really effective. And I've been able to see this concept play out in the talks that I give. At my Hollings presentation, I had cartoons all throughout my presentation. Like, I got tens across the board for like my presentation. Even the paper that I worked on, that me and my lab worked on for the last 3 years, just got published in Nature Communications. My cartoons are in the actual paper itself. They're in the figures. And so it's like, when I'm talking to like my friends, my family, my relatives, and I'm like, I'm talking about, oh yeah, like the mitochondria, like the oxygen pyruvate, whatever. I can also just like point to the cartoon and see, like, you see this molecule here, this was changed by positive regulation. And, it's like, I'm able to like put a picture to the words. And I feel like that goes a long way to saying, like, this is why the work that I do, this is why the work that we do as scientists is important. Being able to communicate that all goes a long way. And art is just one of the methods that I happen to use, visual art. And then I've also been exploring the world of like, dance as well into science, which I'm pretty excited to talk about at the BIMS conference this year. So it's awesome. I think art and science are married to each other. Like, art is a science and science is an art. And, having them both together just like makes sense.
That's really cool. I've never heard of people talking about the dance thing other than when we had our speaker at TDP talking about it, and she was saying, and I'd never heard of anyone using that
Yeah.
together with science to get people to think and to move. And I think that's such an interesting medium to get that across, because people are moving, they seem to be more engaged,
Yeah.
which is you don't really think about it, but that's really how it is. So that's really cool. I want to hear about the publication process and how that was for you, because like right now I have one that's in review and I got some comments back. I got like 3 or 4 reviewers that are awesome, and one of them I'm like, man, like, this person's kind of a hater. They're like,
He's a
this is
hater, bro.
horrible, this is da 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 da, and everybody else is like, this is pretty good, like, you're doing great. And I just wonder, how was that for you? Because for me it's been just a different experience
Yeah.
altogether.
Oh no, and it's been an experience. Like, I remember we submitted the first time at the start of my senior year. We submitted in the summer, and actually no, the start of my senior year, we finally got like comments back, and so it was like, bruh, like like they waited a whole long time just to give you some results. I'm like, bro, I only got a year left, like. Um, but like, I remember the writing process was good. My PI definitely made it easy for me to like work with him. Like, my PI, John Brock, like, he's truly the GOAT. Like, the publication process was hard. Like, there were multiple papers that were just like rejection, rejection, rejection. And it was like, remember after the first rejection, I was like, brother, like, I don't know. Um, but then I kind of just had to remember, like, okay, like, this is science. Like, just like when things in the lab don't go right the first time, it's not like, oh, like, this isn't worth doing. It's like, you just have to try another angle, try another journal. Um, like, listen to the reviewer, do what they say, and like make those revisions. And I remember for some of my revisions, like, I wasn't able to like be there for them. Like, I literally graduated. Like, I'm doing as much as the experiment as I can. I'm like, all right, well, let's hope for the best. And there was one more round of revisions. And I remember I was literally sitting, I was sitting like with Paul like over the summer, and I was just like I get this notification on my phone in Slack, and they're like, "Yep, they have more experiments they want us to run." So I'm like sending notes from my journal and like telling my mentee, like, "Listen, dude, this is what's up." Um, but ultimately, like it was a long and drawn out process, but I think it was worth it for sure. I feel so proud of my paper, so proud of our paper. It's been rewarding, but it was definitely a grueling process for sure.
So, what are your other future plans? I know you talked about your master's. Do you have any other upcoming projects in either science or art you want to tell us about that you can talk about? I know you got the whole super secret government breathing down your neck, and I don't want to see someone come out of a black van and take you away. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to have that happen. So, tell me what you can. Don't give me too much.
Nah, yeah. So I'm working on trying to get my EMT while I'm doing my master's as well. Um, I did my first season of firefighting, which was awesome, and I like want to continue to do that like in the future. So working on trying to get that out the way so I can like have that like kind of like just seeing like how the EMTs were out on the field and like having that type of medical knowledge to help people while they were out in like sticky situations. I was like, bro, I find myself in way too many sticky situations to kind of like not know that. So I'm trying to like learn that while I'm also doing my master's. Trying to dive more now that I have an open diver, like open water certification. Thankful to the diversity project out of UCLA. Shout out Paul. Shout out Paul.
Shout out, Paul.
So definitely trying to dive some more. Trying to get more active on my art account for sure. Um, I definitely took a hiatus over the summer to do some more work for like just whatever I was doing at the time. So trying to get my art account back up and jumping and just trying to stay fit, stay healthy, just do my thing as a scientist and individual. uh, but I guess the most recent thing that's upcoming is the BIMS X talk at BIMS Week 2024. Just been refining my talk, getting everything ready. If you're are you going to BIMS Week?
Yeah. I'm tidal wave fellow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Congratulations, by the way. So yeah,
Thanks, bro.
so yeah, just trying to refine my talk to make sure that like you and like whoever else is there like has the best time as possible. So yeah, let's call it kind of all that's in the cards for me. Enjoying the PA fall type of vibes before I have to like start raking snow out from under my feet. But yeah,
Yeah, so you talked about firefighting, dude. How was that? I saw the pictures and stuff on Instagram. That looked sick. Tell me, bro.
that was lit. Like and like after I graduated, right before I graduated, as I was applying to grad schools, like I didn't get in to like the schools I selected, and I was like, no, like what am I gonna do? And me and my friend, we had a plan. We were like, oh, we're gonna do firefighting and like fishery observing, and I was like, all right, bet that. And so we kind of both just took parts of the plan. Like I did the firefighting, he did the fishing, and I was like, all right, whatever. But it ended up being really fun. It ended up being really, really fun. Like bunch of hours of classes, like 20 days in the woods, like total, I think for me. Like literally camping out under the stars, no shower, like like hiking
Whoa.
every day. Like it was crazy conditions, crazy work. And like in the beginning, every day felt just like, whoa, where am I? But then like you kind of build these really intense like relationships with the guys on your crew. And I really enjoyed like the time that I had out there. Like it felt awesome to be active, be outside, and like be making a difference to like these fires and the communities as well. So it was like I learned a lot about myself, like learned like what my limits were and then how to push past them in like a physical and mental sense. Um, Learned a lot just about like survivalship and like woodsman stuff like as well. And I really felt like I was like, man, like, yeah, like we outside. Like it felt like really cool, and I love those guys that I was on the fire line with. Like, had some crazy experiences, crazy adventures. Like, got to use the chainsaw, like cut down some trees, like, prevent the fire from spreading. Like, it was an awesome experience.
So you survive a PA winter on your own?
Yeah.
You
So
can?
can I survive a PA winter on my own?
Yeah, out in the woods. Can you do that now?
Out in the woods? No, no. What are we talking about? No. PA summer? Maybe. But and I mean, why would I want to? I'm not for the cold. I'm not for the cold. Listen, the Hollings was in Alaska. That was for the experience. That was for the science. It was not for the cold. Plus, it was in the summer, so it was cold. But like, I'm not with that.
So yeah, tell me. I know I've had a lot of people on here talk about the diversity project, and because I mean, most of the Black scientists I know are from there. But how
Yeah.
was your experience in it?
My experience was like literally life changing. Like diving, being in the water. Like, I love being in the water. Like, there's something about like being able to swim and conduct research in like a new place with all Black scientists. Like, that feeling was just so dope. And what I really appreciate about certain elements of the diversity project is like how seriously your work is taken. And of course, there's like checkpoints and like sometimes roadblocks and sometimes conflicts and sometimes people of interest that are like, all right, well, but overall, like being able to just like be like, all right, this is my research project, like this is our research project, and we're going to present it to you, and like we're going to get the science done. We're going to make our own schedule. We're going to like go out in the field and see if our hypothesis is right or if our work is like, worth investigating. That was like really empowering. And just like the skills that you get alone, like being able to scuba dive, being able to like, free dive, just like it was just really, really an experience that like can't be replicated anywhere else. Especially with an all Black cohort, like just to have that support on that level where it's like, your peers are like, yo, listen, I need a retwist because like, like this is day 8 straight of just like getting in salt water and my locks aren't liking it. And not having to worry about like someone being like, well, what's a retwist? Like that kind of that kind of environment is crazy. Like it's really awesome. Because that's what it would be like. It would be like, oh, why you need to twist your hair? Looks good to me, actually. Like, so I don't know. And just being able to relate to other Black scientists who have similar experiences in the field, like my cohort was super lit. Like, for the most part, we all like really love each other. So it was really awesome. We were out there watching Love Island every night. Like, shout out to my boy Cordell. I was Team Cordell day one. Day one. Been dealing with too many Koyes in my life, for sure. But yeah, it was an awesome experience.
Okay, so our last question for you. You're a cartoonist. What's some of your favorite cartoons? You said Finn earlier, and his first thing popped in my mind. I was like, oh, Adventure Time. That's my jam.
Uh,
BLNK. What's your favorite cartoons from my cartoonist, our resident cartoonist?
ooh, the resident cartoonist. I love that title. My favorite cartoons. I I recently rewatched The Amazing World of Gumball. Like, I
Ooh,
really like that cartoon. That was always just like fun for me as a kid. I love the humor. Um, Let me see what else. My other favorite cartoons. Mm, I started to get into. I wanted to name one like a kids cartoon like Gumball, and then like my favorite anime, Death Note. Love Death Note. Like the art
Death
style.
Note. Okay.
And then recently, my favorite cartoon, like, and the art style, story, everything. Scavenger's Reign. If you have you watched that one?
Isn't that on HBO Max?
It's on Netflix now.
Okay, okay.
When I tell you the like peak animation, storytelling, really cool, the environments, that's my number one cartoon right now. Like, I love space, anything like space or sci-fi, like new planet type of vibe. Like, that's my jam. And Scavenger's Reign, Really awesome.
Okay, that's cool, bro. I like anime a lot. I'm big into like the adult cartoons. My dad's super into them, so we watch like Vox Machina together. We've watched like anime together, like the
Yeah.
Boondocks, all kinds of different stuff. And anytime it's anything like bloody, gory martial arts, they're fighting. He's like, turn this on. Like we watched like all of Invincible together, all that kind of stuff. So
Ooh,
I'm huge into that. I love just animation and how it all works, and I just think of how much I take it in, and I have no idea how it all works. And the painstaking hours people have to draw the same frame all over and over and over and over again. Like that's
yes.
crazy to me, and I've gotten such great respect for animators and then people who do art, including yourself, because I just see how much work it is to draw that same. Because I can't draw the same thing more times than one unless you want me to draw a straight line, and even then, it's probably not going to be the same length or the same, the
Yeah.
same form every single time. So it's just crazy to see that and to see how much people put into it and how much they would have put out. Because shoot, I'm watching Dragon Ball Z right now, the old one,
Yeah.
and it's like 200 episodes. I've been watching that recently to like keep me sane, and I'm like, man, this is some good TV.
This
You
is
know
a
what I
good
mean? This is some
TV, good
good TV.
animation.
Yeah, I like this that good. So this is what they be talking about. I see why this is like the golden age of anime people talk about, but it's just yeah.
Exactly. No, animators are crazy. Like, and I mean, I'm not like I do a little bit of animation. I wouldn't call myself an animator. Like, bro, animators who be like stuck in they room just with the pen, just drawing. Like, they're different. Like, and God bless them because my life would not be the same.
Okay, I think I lied. I think I got one more for you. How has being a person that's well-rounded and doing all these different things, how do you think that's affected you personally? I mean, you talk about the dance, you talk about the art, you talk about the science. I meet some people who can be not necessarily one note, but they have one thing they're really focusing on. How are you balancing all these things, and how do you think they affect you as a greater overall as a human being?
Yeah, no, and I definitely have been like reflecting on that recently, where it's like I hear like this quote where it's like jack of all trades, master of none, or whatever. I'm like, all right, like I have a lot of different pools that I'm interested in, and I feel like sometimes like I don't run into this often, but like sometimes people be like, dang, like don't you think you're doing too much? Like whatever. Um, and I think one of the things that I've started to like really come to peace with is that like my life, I only get one chance at this. I will only be 21, and at this time, like I'm only going to be this person that I am like today, and like tomorrow's going to bring something new. And so I think like being well rounded, whatever that means, because like I don't feel like I'm truly round. I think like I'm a block, and I'm constantly like shaving off different sides. It's like I'm like, all right, like which side are we shaving today? I think it makes for a fuller life. I really do, because it's fun to explore different things. It's fun to be bad at things and then become better, and then like fall off and then try to regain that skill and regrow. Like even with my art, like sometimes I'm like, all right, like I'm not progressing as much as I remember I should. Like let me go back to practicing. Let me go back to like exploring new styles and like refining my skills. And I think personally, I think it's helped me make a lot of friends, make a lot of connections. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, like I was a beekeeper too. They're like, what? That's so random. Like, how and why and when? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, and it's something that like, it's like like in a video game, like you collect different skills, you collect different buffs, you collect different items because you never know when you're going to need them. And the quest is long and it's going to be crazy. You'll have side quests, and like I love a good side quest. I'm trying to rank up my XP, trying to get my experience up. So I I just think of it that way, and I'm like, all right, like when my character reaches the final level and the credits are rolling, like I hope that that list of like buffs and tools and experiences and like connections that like I made throughout the years, like I hope it's long, I hope it's full, I hope it's fruitful. Because ultimately, like I think one of the biggest things, it's like I would like to be in the future someone to say like, oh yeah, like I know a black firefighter, or I know a black beekeeper, or I know a black marine scientist. Like maybe I want to do that too. So I think that's always been like my long term goal is like be the best person that I can be, have the most fun that I can have, and do it all while I have this one chance to do it. So yeah, that's it's kind of where I'm at with that.
Man, a master's is a hell of a side quest. You're gonna get plenty of XP from that, bro. Uh, TreVaughn Ellis, man, thank you so much for being. I really appreciated this. This was great. It was just great to talk to you and hear everything. I'm excited to be able to hang out at BIMS.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. This was great. I had a great time. Peace out.
Yeah. Peace. Thank you, man.
Thank you all for tuning into another episode of Black Nerds Matter. None of this is possible without you, our listeners. A special thank goes out to our music team. On guitar is Graham Hempstead, who can be found with his name on any of your favorite streaming platforms, and our sound engineer, Brian, who can be found on TikTok at brian.tyler.music. Thanks everyone for listening.